We're going to start this one hot because like I said, I tell people all the time, I'm one of the older wrestling fans that kind of does this YouTube thing. I'm 40. I'll be 41 in April. All right. And even though I preferred what Vince did, I think we need to finally just start letting go of old things. This is why, even though I hate the way Triple H books things, I was okay with Vince getting outed. Vince is almost 80. There's only so long you can do this. There's only so long you can do anything before you actually become a shell of yourself. The Rock, I think, has reached that point. And we've seen everybody get there. They've all gotten there, man. We saw Mick Foley come out there at one point in time, teeth falling out of his mouth. Roddy Piper would go out and just ramble on and on. Non sequiturs, things that don't matter. You just couldn't tell whether he was even oriented to time and place. Ric Flair, he comes out there hair thinning, face red, just yelling, screaming even. Sometimes guys just hold on too long. Undertaker, a shell of himself in his later years. Chris Jericho looks like the corpse of Bret Michaels. Pants too tight, jaws flopping, weight fluctuating. It's just, sometimes it's best to just let sleeping dogs lie. And I'm getting to that point with The Rock. The Rock physically looks fine. Nobody can complain about how the guy looks. But he's like a European, man. He's driving on the wrong side of the road. It took him way too long to get to what. For starters, he needs some structure. All right. He likes to go out there and wing it. He tries to use his celebrity to everybody should just be happy I'm here. I'll get to what I'm supposed to get to eventually, but just be happy I'm here. And then people are just happy he's there. Yay! But then when you actually start getting to the meat of the matter, he don't really want anything. So, look, the entrance was great. They mixed in Lil Wayne Block Is Hot, which popped me. Shit, it's a song from 1999. I remember 1999. I like that song. And I used to like The Rock, but I was always kind of iffy on The Rock. I was never the biggest Rock fan of all wrestling fans. I was never that guy. I always thought The Rock, buried his opponents too much. He was mostly mouth, which is great, great entertainer. I just never really thought that much of The Rock. But he's a person that I can look back on and appreciate. I appreciate what he can do. The problem is The Rock's ego. Now, they're just happy to have The Rock around, so The Rock don't need to have any structure. He can blow up time restraints. He's going out there cursing, so most of the stuff is muted. He takes way too much time to say so little. He kicks the ball down the road. He disappears. It's like, when I saw that The Rock was going to be on SmackDown this week, I was not excited. For starters, I just kind of figure this is one of those break glass in case of emergency kind of situations, because it seemed to come out of nowhere. Right? So I figured, oh, well, Triple H must be in some trouble, so they didn't call in The Rock. After seeing the rest of this show, they should have called The Rock twice. They should have called him right when he got in his car and drove off. They should have called him and come back. Because I would rather listen to The Rock ramble than see most of the shit that was on this show. And we will get to that shit. We're going to get to it, I promise you. But right now, focus on Dwayne. Okay? So, entrance was great. Took forever. Like all WWE entrances now. Everybody's Undertaker. It takes everybody forever to get to the ring. He starts talking about WrestleMania being in New Orleans, which everybody knew. I don't know why he needed that pop. Just got to figure out whether he's a babyface or a heel. And then he heels on the crowd, says that this is the largest collection of people with STDs and trailer park trash he's ever seen. He started singing a song when the Saints go marching in. He got in touch with his black side on that one. You know, I respect that. Took forever to get there, though. Then he finally called out Cody. This was 10 minutes into the promo, after he aura farmed for a while and rambled in the early part of the promo with no discernible direction, and did a sing-along, because, you know, he's doing all the hits. He wants to make people happy. Who cares about things like time or, you know, focus? So then Cody takes forever to get to the ring, because, again, he has to aura farm too, so he's got to be out there. His interest takes forever, because you got to do your whoas. And then he finally gets to the goddamn ring. And then The Rock tries to lay the groundwork. Even though The Rock was one of the first guys to really have thoroughly scripted promos. Now, they were doing scripted promos in the 80s. Like Greg the Hammer Valentine and so many other guys talked about this. Some of the Saturday Night's main events were scripted promos. But The Rock was the first guy to really embrace the scripted promo. You know? Had his own personal writer and all that stuff, yeah? But for a guy who had his own personal writer and all that, The Rock veers off course so much. So he tried to lay the groundwork, but he knows he has to cover up all the shit that happened on the Netflix special, which is, he could have just ignored it, but he figured, no, we have to find some way of pulling that into the story. So he starts laying his groundwork about how him and Cody have become friends over the past couple of weeks. They're drinking Terramana together. Their parents are friends. Their moms are friends. I'm like, okay. Rock starts talking about Ari Emanuel. You know, how he sits on the board of TKO. Well, The Rock sits on the board of TKO. Ari Emanuel owns everything. Rock says, oh, Ari Emanuel, you own WWE. And Ari Emanuel says, no, Rock, you own WWE. And The Rock says, well, if I own WWE, I'd want Cody to be my champion. Finally get to the point. Finally get into the point. So he tells Cody he wants Cody to be his champion. Says that he wants Cody to be more than just the champion. He wants Cody to be his champion. Cody says he's the fans' champion. He's the people's champion. Noticeably absent from this is The Rock's fake belt that he usually carries around. He's not carrying it with him. You know, interesting, right? So The Rock says that he needs a brother. He wants to have a brother, because he doesn't have any brothers, which is hilarious, because there was this huge story that was done by Greg Oliver at Slam Wrestling detailing how many children Rocky Johnson had while he was wrestling. This is all kayfabe, right? I understand that real life, you're not supposed to know that Rocky Johnson has all these kids, because The Rock doesn't have any brothers, you know? But in real life, The Rock got mad brothers, all right? Because Rocky Johnson had kids all over the place. But in kayfabe, The Rock doesn't have a brother. He wants to have a brother. He wants Cody to be his brother. And he starts laying on the devil stuff. You know, going to make his dreams come true. Opens up all these opportunities. He can grant any wish that Cody wants. But Cody has to become his champion. And he says that last year he showed up, wanted to wrestle Roman Reigns. Cody fucked that up. He stood up to him, slapped him. He appreciated that. He respected that. But wants Cody to be his champion. He thinks Cody is a great champion. Wants Cody to be his champion. So he's going to give him till next week in Toronto Elimination Chamber. And then he reaches over to Cody's face and caresses his ear ever so gently, as if they're about to take a prison shower. And it just got weird. It just got so weird. Look, there's a germ of an idea here that is actually quite good. The idea of The Rock taking on the Vince McMahon role of being, the corporate guy who wants to control the actual title. That's good. I actually don't mind that. I wish we could have got there a lot sooner. When The Rock tells Cody, I want that. Cody's like, you want this? You want this? You want this WWE Championship? You want this title? This thing that my father never held? You want this? And Rock's like, no. I want your soul. I'm like, oh, god damn. A little on the nose. Kind of ham-fisted. Cody's not going to do this shit. Everybody knows that. But who will? That's going to be the intriguing bit. Because now, it's just being thrown out there that The Rock wants to have a champion. He wants somebody that he can mold, shape, do what he wants them to do. And it's not going to be Cody, so he's going to have to saddle up with somebody else. How does that factor into Elimination Chamber, though? Because Cody Rhodes' opponent comes out of the Elimination Chamber. They've already wasted the Royal Rumble. And I hate to put it that way, but it is what it is. So we know Cody Rhodes' opponent will be one of 6 guys. Unless they pull some kind of string and it's 7. Or they swap somebody out, like, when Edge attacked Kofi at one of those Elimination Chamber events. You only got 6 options. Punk is a no-go. Damian Priest, oh, what a flop. Everything about this Damian Priest push is an absolute flop. John Cena is a no-go. That's not going to work either. Drew McIntyre, well, he's already been sort of the corporate champion. He was the champion of Destiny. One of the last guys Vince McMahon handpicked to be the top guy in WWE. Logan Paul, he's a YouTuber. It might work with Logan Paul. And the only other option is Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins disrespected The Rock last year. So, what about Roman Reigns? How about that? Maybe Roman Reigns is going to be The Rock's champion. That could be. That could work. Couldn't it? But there's a germ of an idea there that could lead to entertainment. The Rock wanting to handpick the champion could lead to some good entertainment stuff. Unfortunately, I don't see how the Elimination Chamber plays into this. Because none of these people are good options to be The Rock's handpicked corporate champion. None of them are. Seth Rollins Seth Rollins has also been the corporate champion before when they broke up the Shield, right? So he's already done that too. So, we ain't got much to work with here. The idea that could be possibly Rock versus Cody. Okay, that could be. That's the story. But Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber winner gets a championship match. The Rock is not going to work the Elimination Chamber, but you could say, well, The Rock could just throw his dick in the ring and say, I'm on the board of TKO, I'm making it a triple threat match. Because I can. Then you, of course, makes the Royal Rumble pointless. And you've made the Elimination Chamber pointless. Because The Rock can just do whatever he wants. Right? Seems like they should have thought about this a little bit more. But it also feels like they didn't have time. Because The Rock just decided, this is what I want to do. I got an idea. Me and Brian Gerwitz, we got an idea. We want to be involved in WrestleMania. Nick Khan wants us involved, let's be honest. This thing has got no juice, no motion whatsoever without The Rock. So they want him involved. He kind of wants to be involved, but he wants to write his own story. And this is what he came up with. And now Triple H has got to sit back and deal with it. Once again, Rock comes in. He's fiddling around with Cody. He must really like Cody. Because 2 years in a row, he takes Cody off the track Cody was on and brings him into the Rock's vortex. Which can only help him in the long run. Because Cody is going to be one of your top faces of the company. It's only right that you put him in the top storyline. The issue with that is clearly they had an idea. You know? Clearly there was an idea there. Now, let's see what one sort of viable option could be. John Cena. Let's say people say, well, John Cena could turn heel, and he's been the corporate guy, the bootlicker. He was kind of that for years. That was all unofficial. You know, John Cena was just as much a guy who fought against Vince McMahon and fought against these guys who were trying to interrupt the purity of the championship. That's all John Cena's thing. He never wanted to be seen as the corporate champion, but he was. You know, he wanted it to be a natural thing. He was a Boy Scout. You know? He was leading with his heart, not with him being controlled by Vince McMahon. And it was in his mind, like back in the storyline when he was doing the beginning of the Yes movement and all that, John Cena's whole thing was he earned it. He gets the shot. If he wins, he deserves to be the man. Similar to what CM Punk, you know, he's earned it. He gets the shot. If he wins, he wins. You know? He was forced to represent the company in those storylines. As the other guys were the outsiders. Put that in quotation. Right? Because once you work in WWE, there is no outside. You're in the WWE. So maybe John Cena could be the guy. Maybe they do something slick where John Cena turns heel and he joins The Rock. And it's John Cena and The Rock working together for how long before Cena leaves? And then Cena's had the worst retirement tour ever. He made one appearance in 2 months. It's like you throw somebody a retirement party and he doesn't show up to it. He calls off that day. We're going to throw John Cena a retirement party. Oh, he's called off today. Damn. Well, that's what we get for making it a surprise, I guess. Except for this time, he told us a year in advance that he was quitting. And he decided to quit early. He decided to leave early. So, I don't see how this is going to work. But that's also the beauty of stories. As you get to see how it plays out. I'm interested in how The Rock's story with Cody Rhodes is going to play out. We don't have a choice. But they've now planted this seed. They've done something to make people want to watch Elimination Chamber. And this was necessary because Raw and SmackDown have been so boring, so draining, that I could see people basically saying, I'm going to skip Elimination Chamber because I don't care who's going to wrestle Cody Rhodes. I don't give a shit about who's going to wrestle Rhea Ripley. I don't need to watch that show. But now they might be interested because The Rock still has some level of cachet with the audience. People still love The Rock. Even though he comes out there, points at his forearms, rambles, he sings sometimes, drops a bar here and there, disses the crowd, final boss, final boss, final boss, leaves. I mean, at least his teeth ain't falling out of his mouth. At least he ain't going full psycho like, Roddy Piper in 2002. At least he's in shape. He's not bloated and his jowls flopping all over the place like Chris Jericho. But The Rock is washed. Believe that. If it wasn't for all the aura farming he can get away with, The Rock wouldn't even be interested on TV. But he's 50 some odd years old and he's jacked to the gills. He might be able to go in a singles match. And that's what people want. You know? They want The Rock to wrestle. The Rock wants to be a character, which is the right thing to want to be at The Rock's age. Why the fuck should he be booking himself in matches? He can get away with it. Again, he's still in good shape. But, do I want to see The Rock wrestle Cody? I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. It's a WrestleMania worthy match. It is. But you already are telling a story. Rock versus Cody. Does it really need the title? Does it really? The title should go somewhere else then, right? Or you realize that they just booked themselves into a corner. And that's what it is. They booked themselves into a corner. They'll have to figure it out. They did it last year and they made the most of it. The chaotic nature of it, the energy behind the bloodline stuff, Rock and Roman. They don't got that this year. Roman's apparently not even showing up. He ain't answering his phone. He's too busy making new babies and raising the ones that he got. So, you're stuck with Dwayne. Figure it out. Now let's get into the regular part of the show. So, news and notes. I wanted to get The Rock out of the way first. News and notes. Carmella's contract has expired. I heard nothing about this, but I knew that Triple H not likely bringing Carmella back. So, there's that. Some people are saying she's already injured and all this kind of stuff, but you know they can add injury time to your contract if they wanted to. They don't want to. They don't want to add injury time, pregnancy time, nothing to Carmella's contract. They just want her to go. Bye. See ya. Don't call us, we'll call you. It's not you, it's us. See you later. So, Drew McIntyre loses to Jimmy Uso. Jim Uso wins with a victory roll. So, there's no consequences whatsoever for Drew McIntyre being inside the Elimination Chamber and losing to Jimmy Uso. There's good win for Jim. It means nothing in the long term, though. Okay, the match was fine. Jimmy's a much better wrestler than Jay. And he's a better promo, too, if we're being honest. I like the way Jimmy cuts promos. He's actually a decent promo. But he's drunk uncle, but he ain't got that drunk uncle energy like Jay. Jay got that drunk uncle, loving, drunk cousin energy. Where you go to the family reunion, you probably showed up 2 hours late. He's already fallen down. And the first thing he do when he see you is grab you. And he's got a brown bag with a bottle in it. And he smells of weed and cognac. And he just grabs you and hugs you. That's Jey Uso. You know, nobody hates that guy. They just don't want to be around him all day. But nobody hates him. Everybody loves him because he's such a loving, touching, family member. Jimmy's kind of like, he's drunk too, but he's just kind of there. I don't know what the point of this match was. And then Drew McIntyre beat him up after the match. Okay. Fine, I guess. What was that supposed to be? Solo Sikoa, he shows up in his truck. He wants to talk to Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu has turned on a dime all of a sudden. Now he's threatening Solo, and Solo he thinks that he's gonna call the shots. He's gonna be in the corner of Jacob and Tama, and Jacob's like, no. It's you and me. We running the play. I mean, it was announced as Jacob and Solo, right? Jacob is just reiterating what was already announced. And Solo thought he was slick and he was going to get out of wrestling in this match. Which I wish he had got this wrestling this match. The main event of the show, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, they lose to Damian Priest and Braun Strowman. Damian Priest, is there a main event guy being pushed outside of Jon Moxley, of course, and maybe Claudio, that gets less of a fan reaction than Damian Priest? I mean, my word, what a flop. It's not necessarily Damian Priest's fault. It's not like he's being put in the best situations. They're not telling stories. They're not. They're booking matches. Triple H's gimmick is, this match is at this time. Book tournaments or whatever to put people in those matches, then you don't touch it anymore. That's it. That's all you need. All I needed to do was have 6 spots for the Elimination Chamber. We had play-in matches. Now all 6 spots are finished. That's it. Hands off. That's it. That's all you needed to do. So now we just take a knee until we get there. We fiddle fuck around until we get there. Wrestling nothing matches. You don't have to put any heat on anybody. You don't have to give anybody any sympathetic storytelling. You've already booked them in the match, so you can just take your hands off the gas now. Take your hand off the wheel. It's going to drive itself. That's not how stories work. You can't just set up a premise or a destination and then just say, well, this thing's going to write itself, bro. No. That's not how any of this stuff works. People are walking into this match saying, oh my God, look at all the talent in this match. Yeah. Would be nice if these guys cut promos on TV or at the very least confronted each other or something. I mean, you get bits of that, but you don't get a lot of it. You don't get enough of it. You don't feel like anybody actually dislikes anybody. And nobody has any heat with Cody. So, the match going into WrestleMania is just Cody respects whoever wins the chamber. Because it's the only person he can't respect is probably Logan Paul, and he's not going to win. So then you're in a situation, and then maybe the heat goes to The Rock. Maybe that's what they brought The Rock in for. Because they realized that either Punk or Cena's going to have to win this match. And they're going to be a babyface. And we need to put heat on somebody. So let's just let it be The Rock. The Rock can put some heat on it. And maybe The Rock will be there and he's going to pull a tug of war. I want you to be my corporate champion. Now, the story goes that, leave that alone. The story goes that Solo and Jacob are probably going to end up having a match at WrestleMania. That's a sensible idea. It's very sensible. I'm not against it, but I'm not exactly for it. There needs to be more of a reason why these guys are fighting. Right now, they're in strong disagreement. Only because Solo abandoned them for a month or two or whatever. In which time Jacob did what he does. But Tama has done nothing but lose and get beat up. So his aura is gone. He's a bumping jabroni now. He's 40 some odd years old. There needs to be a reason why these guys are fighting. They got a lot of time. But they need to be something there. If they can come up with a good, compelling reason why Solo and Jacob Fatu are going to have this match, I'm with it. But if they can't, and it's just going to be more Bloodline 2.0 Civil War. I'm sorry. Just put that on second. You alright? It's a good win for Jacob. Put it on second. But what do you do with Solo after that? Solo's the younger of the two. He's got the bigger push of the two. But he ain't got the bigger potential of the two. I guess you could always rehab Solo in 2 years if you need to, right? Carmelo Hayes is in the middle of mid-card stuff. He's now wrangling with R-Truth. R-Truth thinks that they never met before. He keeps doing the him thing. It actually works in terms of an R-Truth gimmick. It's funny. The Miz is the one who came up with the tag team idea. Mellow Don't Miz versus R-Truth and Louisiana Knight. Because that's what LA is short for Louisiana. So R-Truth was actually pretty smart on that one. Louisiana Knight. And oh yeah, your boy Louisiana Knight was gifted with some Mardi Gras beads and a po' boy. As long as he's not running that model agency, right? This match went on for far too long. And then, believe it or not, Carmelo Hayes and Miz won. LA Knight lost. Have mercy, Jesus. R-Truth is a nice guy. I love R-Truth. If he can help Carmelo get over, it'll be all worth doing. The Miz, great talent. I know a lot of people, the wrestling snobs, they hate Miz. Miz is a great talent. If he can get Carmelo over, it'll be worth it. But you got three of the best. Because LA Knight is a very good character too. You got three guys going to work trying to get Carmelo over. Ought to be entertaining. But LA Knight shouldn't be losing in this situation. Why couldn't R-Truth? Oh, well, did R-Truth take the loss? I don't remember. And it don't matter. So, his team lost. That's what matters. Why is LA Knight in the middle of this? Where the fuck is Shinsuke Nakamura in that United States title? Where is it? They're going to crack open that Death Rider's briefcase and it's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura is going to pop out like a jack-in-the-box with the United States title tucked in his robe. Going into a big pay-per-view event. No mid-card whatsoever. The whole mid-card was stuffed in this one match. This is basically the entirety of the mid-card here. It did a Zelina Vega promo where it was kind of cyberpunkish, with like anime lighting and stuff. Where she was talking about how her size has never held her back before. Zelina Vega's been in WWE a long time, man. A long time. Why are we just now talking about how tiny she is? We definitely could have been talking about something else. We most certainly could have been talking about something else rather than how small she is. But they don't know what they're doing. I forgot the girl was even on SmackDown. Hell, I forgot Alexa Bliss was back. And they had a vignette for her too. I forgot she even worked there. She hasn't been on the show since she won her play-in match to get into the Elimination Chamber. She hasn't been on the show since. She's done nothing on the show. Nothing. She does not matter. She is a non-entity. Zelina Vega is a non-entity on the show. You show these vignettes for what? I don't get... Do storylines. Storylines, how about that? Do something to make people care. The vignettes are fine. The character stuff is fine. But these are not new talents. Zelina Vega's been there, 8 years? She was in NXT with Andrade in 2017 or something. It's almost 10 years she's been there. And Alexa Bliss has definitely been on the roster since at least 2013. Get real. Why are we doing vignettes for these people who have been around forever? We now know who Alexa Bliss is. Put her on a storyline so we can do something. The people who nobody knows who the fuck they are, those are the people you do vignettes for. Kiana James, who apparently does not exist. Blair Davenport, who you fired. All these people, they need your vignettes. Charlotte has a vignette because apparently a storyline is too much. Talking about her legacy. Tiffany Stratton comes out because she's about to have a marathon match with Candice LeRae. She comes out, cuts a promo, said that her dream came true while she was laying on the mat, which made her look bad and sound bad. Then she said that nobody knows how to kick people like when they're down like Charlotte. Then says she's coming for the top spot to be the top girl in WWE, which is great. Except that would have been nice if she'd have said it to Charlotte. Would have been nice if she actually tried to get some heat with Charlotte. Then she went out there and worked with Candice LeRae in a match that she won. At least she won the match. But it took her a solid 10 minutes to do it. It's like, who the fuck is the main event person we're pushing here? And I'm going to save my real critique. Candice lost, of course. Nia Jax comes out there, beats up Tiffany Stratton, because why not? Trish Stratus runs to the ring to try to help Tiffany Stratton, to birds chirping. She gets beat up too. So Candice LeRae and Nia Jax, they just beat up Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Just beat them up, both of them. And then Nia Jax does quite easily the softest bonsai drop she's ever done. And it is the safest bonsai. She must have got a stern talking to about bonsai dropping Trish Stratus. Because she was very, very light. Extremely light. Her booty barely touched that chest. So whatever they did to her before, they put the fear of God in her. Because she was not her usual reckless self. Charlotte gets in the ring, looks down on Tiffany again, wipes her feet, and leaves the ring. And this is the story between Tiffany and Charlotte. Tiffany is fighting for her life against mid-carders. And Charlotte is looking down on her like, pfft. And that's it. That's the story. Not that Tiffany is, the hot young thing that Charlotte's got to compete with. It's that Charlotte is way up here. And Tiffany Stratton's looking up at her with stars in her eyes like, ooh, Charlotte. It's going to be great to be in the ring with you. Come on, man. Nobody has ever gotten over doing that. Nobody has ever gotten over glazing the other person. Not as early in what they're doing here, but I'm not seeing a story being built here. It would have been nice for them to have like a promo. I mean, the match is already set. You know what I'm saying? Like, the match is already set. There's basically nothing that can happen between now and WrestleMania, unless Tiffany gets hurt or Charlotte gets hurt, that's going to stop the match from happening. This is why when the Royal Rumble winner picks their opponent so early, you have all this time to tell stories and then you don't even bother. They're going to eventually end up having face-to-face promos, and it might be good. But right now, it ain't making Tiffany look strong. Because with Charlotte sitting right there watching, think of how much stronger it would have been if Tiffany would have crushed Candice LeRae. I mean, absolutely went in there and beat her in 3 minutes. And then put the belt in the air, dare Charlotte to get in the ring. I mean, nope, can't do that though. But here's the big issue. Here's my big situation. Nobody got a reaction. Nobody. This Nia Jax thing has been such a flop, ain't even the right word. All right, I can't even. I got a pretty good vocabulary. I can't even come up with a word. I'll have to make something up. It's been a smigajagurshk. That's what it's been. I'm gonna make up some shit. I can't even think of another word in a different language to explain how fucking stupid this booking of Nia Jax has been. Since her return, she's been booked like she's fucking Brock Lesnar. What is going on? Why is he obsessed with Nia Jax? I don't want to. I don't want to think anymore. I don't hate Nia Jax. I don't like her, but I don't hate her. I know this is Triple H putting her in this position. I know she's in this position because of her size. She's unusual. That's why you would put somebody like Nia Jax in a situation like this, because she's unusual. But you're dealing with two Barbies here, and she has to be extremely light because one of the Barbies is like 50. So she's not really... See, the thing is, what works, like the Bull Nakanos and Nia Jax when she was younger, is that when you're big like that, you kind of have to be stiff. Your stuff looks good when it's... You look really, really bad when you're that big and you're light. And your work is light. Usually, if people can see through it, it's bad. Okay? But if you're big, it looks worse. So I never really blamed Nia Jax for being heavy-handed while she was big. Vader was heavy-handed while he was big. You know? It is what it is. It kind of comes with the territory. But we're 10, 15 years into this Nia Jax thing now. It's time that we, get the broom and just, push her to the side. Put her in the tag team division. Which it seems like that's what they're going to do. But that's where she needs to be. She doesn't need to be wrestling the world champion or wrestling for the world title. She didn't need to win like King of the Ring or anything like that. She didn't need any of that shit. That stuff could have went to other people. This Nia Jax push has brought everybody down. Now everybody's reactions are worse. Trish Stratus can get a pop out of this crowd. Holy hell. And she wasn't even advertised. She came out unadvertised to make the save. No reaction. Tiffany Stratton used to have people standing on, throwing babies in the air not too long ago. Virtually no reaction. Charlotte, for God's sake. This is what happens when you don't have stories. People are becoming less and less enthused when they see these people. They're not generating anything, any feeling, any emotion. They need to change Tiffany Stratton's theme song too. So there's that. Then you got Naomi and Bianca. They're having way too much fun. They're fun-loving babyface. They're basically the girl version of New Day at this point. They're dressing alike. They're dancing every time you see them. They're wearing booty shorts today. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to complain about that. But then they start talking about how they've been waiting for months to get their hands on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Or to find out what happened to Jade Cargill. And say, they haven't heard from Jade because she's injured and she's recovering. Is she in a coma? Like she can't send a text message? What? Now, hey, when Chris Bay was hurt, he wasn't sending no goddamn text messages, Prayers up to Chris Bay. He's up walking around and stuff now. I know it's kind of ginger, but I'm just using real life to kind of explain kayfabe a little bit. But there's very few injuries where you can't even tell your friends, hey, I'm okay. It's very few. You have to be literally paralyzed. Or you're preparing to come back and destroy their lives. No. Anyway, they booked Naomi versus Liv Morgan. Now, the folks on the internet, they went crazy when they heard The Rock was coming back because they said, holy guacamole, Liv Morgan and Naomi, their match just got replaced because The Rock's coming back. Because SmackDown deleted the tweet that said that their match was going to happen. And then, just to play with their emotions, there was an entrance for a match, and then Bianca Belair got beat up by Raquel Rodriguez, and then they both beat up Naomi. And there was no match. The match was canceled. And then Nick Aldis, he was all angry dad on Liv Morgan, and she went all petulant teenage girl and laughed at him. No consequences whatsoever. And I'm just sitting here like, Bianca just got beat up by Raquel Rodriguez. in a toe-to-toe fight. Look, that's fine, I guess. Raquel's a big girl. She's kind of hefty, you know. She's kind of sturdy. They're trying to get her, but then she just lose to like a 4-foot Mexican girl on Raw. Holy guacamole. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? I don't think they are thinking. It's almost as if they had no plan for this Jade Cargill thing. And they are simply flailing. They're not swimming. They're dog paddling. And they're panicking. Anytime somebody mention it, a huge air pocket in their story. By this point in time, Jade Cargill should be able to talk to people, cut a promo, something. She's not dead. You know? They could have at least lied and said, well, yeah, we've been in contact with Jade. She's been in the gym, which is all true. She's been in the performance center working out, and everybody knows that. She's not medically cleared. You could even say some shit like, oh, the Nick Aldis put a restraining order on SmackDown until she's medically cleared. But she's been going to the performance center working out. And so you never heard from her. Well, that only opens the door for when she returns you, she's saying you never contacted her. Because nobody believes that she's just not responding. And y'all are supposed to be friends. That doesn't make sense, right? Okie dokie. Whatever. Chelsea Green wants to be on the Elimination Chamber card because she's Canadian. She thinks that Bianca and Naomi ain't going to make it because they just got beat up. Nick Aldis is like, oh, they're going to be fine. They're going to be there. And you're going to have a match too. And she's like, yay. And he says, on SmackDown. And then everybody's like, what? So, never mind. There's only going to be 3 matches on Elimination Chamber in terms of the entire show. The 2 chamber matches and then the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens thing. Those are going to be the only matches on the show? Because right now, that's what it's looking like. Why do we even have these women's titles? Why do we have any mid-card belts? I don't see the purpose in any mid-card belt at this point. Triple H, he's worse than Vince when it comes to not caring about the mid-card. But Chelsea Green is going to wrestle somebody, probably Mia Yim, next week. Or it might be, what's her face? B-Fab. It's not like it's going to matter. Because she's not going to wrestle anybody who's over. She's not going to put the title on the line. She ain't going to lose it. At least 9 times out of 10, she's not. And she's not going to be in a story. So, she's going to wrestle in a pointless match. But she was at least funny when she said she had an outfit for Elimination Chamber. Which is classic Chelsea Green. And I think she's been misused. Chelsea Green has. She's far more entertaining than they've been giving her. Again, I think if she'd have come into WWE, let's say 2015, 2016, Chelsea Green would have been a multiple-time champion and would have been a staple of the show. Vince would have found her something to do. She just happened to come in at a time where Vince was tired of Triple H pushing all of these indie guys onto him, and he just decided to clean house of them. I think if he'd got a clear look at Chelsea Green, he would have liked Chelsea Green. And I think if we would have gotten an opportunity to see Chelsea Green in some storylines and doing fun stuff, she would have been a great character and people would have really gotten over with her. Now she's actually over because she makes the most of the little time that she does get. But then she now gets less time. They did the exact same thing to LA Knight. You give them a little bit of time. She maximizes her minutes. She gets over. And then she gets a title. And now they give her even less time. Like, oh, okay, you got over in 60 seconds, but can you get over in 20? No, she's going to get less over. Meanwhile, DIY is on the show. People were so excited about The Rock and Cody. Rock and Cody, man, that promo segment's like 25 minutes. And then they say, oh, yeah, you're too excited. Let me throw this shit at you. Here comes Johnny fucking Gargano. And he gets all the heat. Because Tommaso Ciampa, Jesus. Johnny Gargano. Right? And Pretty Deadly come out there. I don't know if this was a tag team title match or not. I missed that part. The match went on for a little while before the Street Profits got in there. Disqualification. Motor City Machine Guns showed up. They fight the Street Profits. They get beat up. Street Profits beat up everybody. Look, this very serious Street Profits is not for me. I said that before. I liked the Street Profits from a couple of years ago. I liked them as a high energy babyface team. This sinister heel team. It's okay. But I definitely prefer the Street Profits from a couple of years ago. I understand they're trying to, do something new, but it ain't really clicking like I would like for it to. Motor City Machine Guns probably shouldn't even have a job. I'm not even going to lie to you. At this point, I don't even see the purpose of them. They have not gotten a reaction at all since they came to WWE. And then, again, no storylines. The only storyline they had was them winning the titles very quickly. And that was because of bloodline stuff. Otherwise, the Motor City Machine Guns could not be on the show. They could not even be on the roster, and most people wouldn't know. They're less over than the Vaudevillains were. But, Triple H is trying to be Mr. Goodwill. I'm going to go out there and hire me some 5'6" indie guys. Got all these porcelain dwarves running around, man. What the fuck? The crowd don't care about these people. Pretty Deadly is another act. I hate to use the word act. That if Vince would have gotten these guys in like 2013, 2014, 2012, they'd have been on TV all the time. Alright? You'd have got sick of them. Because they're funny, they're charismatic, they can actually work, but they don't get any time. They don't get no time to do anything. Sometimes, and they're a little too silly. That might be like the Chelsea Green problem where they're a little silly. But it would have worked if you'd have given them time. The one time they did try something, it bombed tremendously. But since then and before that, no. Pretty Deadly is just dying on the vine. It's unfortunate. But at least they have talent. At least the Street Profits have talent. Can't say the same thing about DIY. Can't say the same thing about Motor City Machine Guns. I don't care about how good they can wrestle. I really don't. Because I don't want to watch it. So I don't care how good they can work. I don't want to see them. I've been watching Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin for 20 fucking years. I've never been excited to see them. Never. Never. Moving on. Kevin Owens is stalking Sami Zayn, hanging out outside his house. Recording his kids. Very creepy. Talking about taking everything away from him, ending his career in Toronto. It's a good promo. This feels like a blood feud. For a second there, I forgot they were having an unsanctioned match. It feels like a blood feud, though. So, it was short. It was to the point. I didn't hate it. It didn't offend me, outside of putting Kevin Owens' face on my TV. And it told a decent story. Kevin Owens knows Sami Zayn's family. And it's going to make him feel bad to take away Sami's career and to hurt them. But he's going to have to do it. Meanwhile, Sami is in the house playing checkers with his kids or whatever. This episode of SmackDown was absolutely basura. Everybody knows it. Everybody saw it. These 3-hour SmackDowns have been atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Now, we were told that Road Dogg was going to figure it out. Road Dogg, man, he's got such good ideas. Road Dogg is going on Chris Van Vliet talking about how he has all these genius ideas that Vince McMahon destroyed. AJ Styles like, oh no, you don't know what the guy's got in his brain because Vince was destroying all his good ideas. He had all these great ideas. Okay, so now he's the lead writer for SmackDown, right? This is his show, right? He wrote this, right? He's the one who put DIY on the show then, right? Huh. Fire Road Dogg on day one. You have a show that's the worst SmackDown show, and it featured The Rock, and it was the worst show. If you cannot build a decent show around The Rock, you don't deserve your job. Fire that man. I'm on the Fire Road Dogg trip already. Fuck him. Alright? I don't care who you replace him with. Maybe that's extreme. Maybe that's too extreme. Maybe I need to bring it down. But no. No. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Maybe this wasn't his idea. Maybe it was The Rock. It's The Rock's fault. The Rock showed up at the last minute and threw everybody. Everybody's like, no, The Rock wants to do what? He needs how much time? I gotta cut all of this. And Road Dogg's gonna go online and say, well, I had the best show lined up. I had this fantastic show lined up, and then The Rock showed up and screwed everything up. Bullshit. It looked whack before The Rock even announced it, that he was going to be there. You couldn't have possibly liked this show. Nobody did.